podcast. I am Shanegotyou11, and with me, as always, is Trey. How are you doing today, Trey?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, Shane, and I would like to give a shout out to the chat people that are going to watch this back and people that are going to participate. I appreciate it. So before I get into the intro, I always like to start off the podcast with asking a random question. And today's random question is that this weekend is in fact Labor Day weekend. I only recently just figured out that it was like today. So what are your plans for the weekend? If you're gonna do anything special, that's what I want to know in the chat. So again, we have the million coin giveaway contest. You could hit me up on Twitter. JusticeT97 is my name. You just have to write me a DM, and then I'll get back to you. I will get back to you, and you have to answer me when I do. I still have not heard back from Jordan, who entered the contest, and if I don't hear back from him about a week before the first Monday Night Football game, I will auto pick his teams, and he'll be entered that way. So yeah, if you guys are interested in making a million coins and participating in a dope contest, then you should definitely hit up my Twitter. And yeah, so with that being said, that was a nice, quick, and easy intro that we got going on, which is always a good thing. So Shane, how's the week been for you? How has the salary cap grind been to you so far?
You know, it's been going pretty good. Getting some money games in here and there. Also doing that salary cap. Salary cap, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. Can you attack the 3-4? Can you attack the big dime, and also dollar? So all those things you have to be able to attack on. When you're on offense, you need to know how to block the 3-4 blitz. And then when you're on defense, you just got to shut down the run mainly. There's some good people out there that can pass really, really good. And other than that, man, it really is cut and dry this year. So far, knock on wood, stop the run, be able to attack the 3-4 blitz and the dollar and the big dime.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, a lot of people have problems against the run, and you know, my biggest advice to them is because I feel like when something's overpowered, people are always concerned about I have to blow it up. You know, it has to be, you know, negative yardage. But you have to remember that when you're dealing with a deadly formation or like a glitch or something along those lines, is more often than not you can't shut it down completely. I think if you just try to slow it down, you know, just accept the fact, like, okay, this guy is good at running, he's going to get his yards. What I'm going to do is try to contain it and try to slow it down. And I think that's the approach that you guys should take. Just accept the fact that you're not going to be able to blow it up completely, but try to slow it down. And then just try to, you know, get on offense and really try to put some points on the board. So
yeah, to go on to your point, that is really true, because everybody gets impatient. Now they get impatient on the run game on offense, and they get impatient on the defense. With the run game, you're not always, when you're playing defense, going to get negative yards like you said. But a lot of times people get impatience on the offensive side, so if it's like 3rd and 6, they'll start throwing. They'll abandon the run. You're not going to always get negative defensive yards on the run, but that's just my opinion. You just got to stick to what you know and how to stop it.
yeah, patience is definitely it's probably an underrated factor when it comes to Madden, honestly, because if you start to panic and then start to make some bad reads, you know, and just, you know, play too aggressive and then leave something wide open, then it's going to come back and haunt you. So I definitely think that patience is probably a thing that you should you should look into if you want to improve your Madden game. So, but no, so this is actually the last week of the NFL preseason. It is week number 5. I know that there's probably a lot of people that are watching the preseason right now. I actually have not. I've watched a few games of the preseason, but I haven't been paying that much attention to it. I like what the Patriots have going on. I like the quarterback situation. I think that Hoyer and that Denham guy, I think that's his name. I think that they're both good and they're going to be able to step in when need be. And I think that our receivers are pretty deadly. And dare I say, I think that we're going to. It's a very possible that Brady could get his 7th ring here this season. So.
Whoa.
But Shane, like, have you paid attention to the preseason, and how do you think that your Seahawks are looking so far?
I've only been watching like the second and third games because honestly the backups don't excite me much, and I know sometimes there is a diamond in the rough where they break out and they're amazing, and you're like, I can't believe I didn't notice him. But for the most part, I think the Seahawks will be pretty good. The offense is going to have to score a lot, in my opinion, this year because, well, I'll say this. The offense is going to have to score a lot if we don't get another pass rusher. So I really hope we get Clowney. If we get Clowney, that I think the Seahawks will actually make the Super Bowl, barring injuries. If there's injuries, then all bets are off the table. But honestly, I think if they get Clowney, there's a good chance that the Seahawks go to the Super Bowl. And like I said before in the other podcast, I think it'll be Patriots and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, and then it's whoever's home will be the winner.
All right, so yeah, what's if you guys are in the chat, let us know what your NFL team is and what you think how you think they're going to fare in the regular season, and how do you like your preseason so far. So moving on, it's a little bit of a minor topic, but I figured that we would discuss it. I mean, this is a minor topic, but this is going to kind of lead into a bit of a question that's been going on around in the community, but we did have a patch. It was a little bit of a minor patch, and that was about last week, you would say, right, Shane?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So I mean, my question is that like we all remember the game when it first came out, and it was a different. I don't want to say it was a different game, but I'm starting to, and I don't know if it's because it was new at first, but then you play a certain number of games, and then like subconsciously you're like, okay, this is starting to be like Madden 19 again. But I don't know, like I feel like I'm not able to hit holes in the run game as well. So I mean, do you think that there's a chance that they patched something but they didn't include it on the patch notes? I know that that's a bit of far-fetched, kind of like a conspiracy thing going on, but I feel like we need to address it, and what your opinion is on something like that.
I think it's a little bit of both, honestly, bro. I think they might tweak just a little bit here and there, so then there is a little bit of a difference on the game. I also think more and more people are learning how to stop the run, if that makes sense, because everybody's spamming like I-form stretch or the dive out of stretch, or they're doing the RPOs. So I do think when they tweak something at times, especially if it's a big tweak, that it opens up something else. I feel like I can still run really easy at times, and then times is a little bit more difficult. I haven't seen that big of a difference, to be honest, but I do think, yes, that they put little, whatever they're called, codes in there that change the game a little bit with each patch. That's why there have been Like last year, I think it was Chaos, or maybe it was in Madden 18. Chaos was really, really good the first 3 months of the year, and then they had like a huge patch, and he sucked. So I think it was Madden 18. I don't think it was Madden 19. But yes, I do believe that patches change the game, especially if they're big patches. If they're small, I'm not really sure. So I'm not so sure, and I don't know if it's a placebo effect. You know what I mean? Where there's a patch, so people think instantly, oh, they changed the game up. I think it's a little bit of both. I think they changed it a little bit in the coding, and then I think that people have learned how to kind of shut the pass down, or I mean the rundown. Excuse me.
Right. All right, so moving on, we do have the first MCS event of the Madden 20 season. It is going to be taking place in Texas. I forgive me, I'm not sure where exactly it is in Texas, but I know that it is in Texas. It's going to take place over this weekend, and Shane, I want to ask you, and I think the viewers out there, like say somebody out there is not even really into competitive Madden at all, something like that doesn't really interest them, but out of the three tournaments, you have the Madden Classic, the Madden Club Series, and the Madden Challenge. Which of those three would you say, like, okay, like if you had to watch, like, what basically, like, which one do you think is the most entertaining to watch on stream out of those three?
That's a really, really good question, and it's really, really tough, to be honest. I enjoy all three in different ways. Like in regs, you're gonna get like 2 or 3 teams, so there's not gonna be a lot of differences. It's just gonna be whoever does this better, whoever does that. So I would actually put regs, even though I like regs better, and I think they should make regs online, so you should be able to make it for everyone. I put regs as number 3 most favorite tournament for me to watch. Number 2 would be Mutt Draft, because if you don't get the right playbook, you're kind of screwed. And then but it's still exciting, don't get me wrong. And then number 1, I really like how Clubs is. So Clubs is really, really fun to watch. I really enjoy how it's round robin. So yeah, for me, for that order, it'd be Salary Cap, Clubs. Number 2 would be Mutt Draft, and then number 3 would be Regs.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I agree with you. I would actually probably put I would almost put I think for me, I like Draft Champions probably the best, because I feel like I like Draft Champions because there's no chemistries, there's no abilities. I just feel like it's a lot more pure in that regard. So I would probably say that Mutt actually takes over Salary Cap, in my opinion. But no, I still think that the Classic is going to be a fun one to watch. But it's one of those tournaments, like at least with the Madden Challenge and the Madden Club Series, you'll have you'll be able to tell who's what groups are there, who's in this group, who's in that group. But in the Madden Classic, you really can't go off of anything, because it's like anybody could go there and make a run at a tournament. So with that being said, we're about a few days away. So who do you honestly think, just give me like an out there prediction of who you think's gonna win. Like, I know that we don't know.
Okay, I've been watching some Reg Money games, bro. So yeah. I know what you're gonna ask me. I've been watching some Reg Money games, and I kind of take away my statement earlier. I don't think Skimbo wins for a third straight year or second straight year. I think it's third, right?
Yes.
Unless he's not showing his complete hand, which he's a savvy vet, so maybe he's not. But I mean, I've been watching or hearing and seeing where he's been playing $300 games and he's been losing like 6 or 7 out of 10 to a guy, and the guy that I'm gonna drop it is Allen. Allen has been beating him more times than not, at least on this gaming site. And Skibbo has lost to a couple randoms on this gaming website for a couple $100, whereas Allen has just kind of, run up on people and beat them for the most part, except when they're playing other pros. So you know what? I'm gonna go out with either Allen or Drini. That is my go-to pick in Vegas is Allen or Drini, and I'm gonna roll with Allen to win the Madden Classic.
Yeah. I think that Allen definitely is. Allen's probably my favorite. Like I don't. The only thing about Allen though is that this would be his first live event, so it's gonna be interesting to see like when the lights are, because obviously of the environment versus when you're on your couch or you're on your couch or whatever, you're comfortable, playing money games, but then it's kind of a different story when you get on that live stage in front of people and that you're gonna have the Twitch chat, and they're ready to expose you. So it's definitely like an added pressure when you do get to a live event. So
and that's a very true statement though. That's very good. I forgot that Allen. I thought Allen won a live event. Or wait, no, that was Pavon, right? That was Pavon.
Yeah.
So I do agree with you. When the stage shines bright, you never know. You never know how people are going to react. You never know how people are going to play when the pressure gets to them. I've played against guys, bro, where we playing a $10 money game. They beat me. We up it to 50 to 75, and they kind of choke. They kind of play a little bit different. They get tight. That heart rate, gets a little bit quicker. But I'm going to roll with that. Allen is comfortable enough playing these guys. And yes, it is a live event, but my go-to pick is going to be Allen or Drini. I think Skimbo makes the Elite 8. I think Clef makes the Elite 8. I will be kind of like intrigued to see how Clef does against other top pros, because the one he won wasn't against a bunch of top pros. He still gets propped for winning that. I mean, I'd take 20 G's anytime, so congrats to him. But I do want to see when all the pros are there, what goes on. So, I still am going to go with Allen or Drini. What's your go-to pick?
I mean, I was going to go Allen, but then when I started talking about the whole stage thing, I feel like you have to give it. I feel like I have to pick Skimbo here because he's won the past 2 Madden Classic champions, and I know that last year was kind of a disappointing season for Skimbo. I mean, he lost in the club championship to J-Wall, which was a surprising factor. But I mean, you have to realize, a disappointing season for Skimbo is what, like he won the Madden Classic, and then that's it. I mean, I feel like most people would be okay in that situation if they had 1 belt. So.
Definitely. I'd take 1 belt. Shit, to be honest, bro, I would take a live event again. Like, I made the live event like way back, but like, I'd take another live event and just try to keep moving forward. Now, so my question to you is this. So you don't think that he's showing his complete hand when he's playing his money games for that amount of money? Or do you think that possibly like the Allen who's playing him is laid back because he's at his home on his couch or chair playing Skimbo and not under the lights?
Yeah. It might be a little bit of both, but I think it's the second one. The second one you said. I think Skimbo, and believe it or not, I was actually, like a while back, I was listening to Skimbo. He was talking on a TV. It was like a TV show or something like that, but he was basically talking, and what he said was kind of interesting. He was like he was like before he went into the Madden Classic last year, I guess he went into the gamer saloon and was playing money, and he said that he lost money, but his logic behind it was like, yeah, sometimes you have to lose, $300 or $400, and then but then when it comes time to the high stakes, then you're more prepared. So, but he might be in different circumstances. I'm not going to pocket check him. I don't know what his financial situation is. So, maybe that's what's going on. But no, I think he might not be showing his full hand. But I think that in the back of his mind, he knows that if he can get Allen, who's a noob, he doesn't have any MCS live event experience. So I think it's mostly the fact that he thinks that if he can get him into that do or die situation on the big screen, I think he has the advantage in that situation.
But what do you think about, though? Like, do you think that Skimbo's armor has been dented a little bit? Because last year I played Skimbo. I've watched him play. I've never seen him lose confidence like he did against Spoto. So do you think and wasn't that the last tournament of the year?
Yeah, it was.
So do you think that when he goes up against another up-and-comer, he feels that pressure if they're good? Or do you think he just is comfortable and wins it all again this year?
I mean, it's hard to say, I feel like Skimbo, I think it was just an off year for him last year. I mean, let's just be honest, from what I've heard is that a lot of his play calling and a lot of his defense was it was predictable. People were able to tell what he was doing, but I mean, to see it just like you said, Shane, you played Skimbo and you never seen him, just kind of, not locked in, like he allowed, someone to get into his head basically, and so it was a little off-putting, but I think that he's able to bounce back. I feel like because when he first started, he kind of started from like he had to work his way up to get to where he is. So I feel like this is just a minor setback, and I feel like he's able to get to where he is. But that's my take on it.
Okay. Here, I got something for you since we're on the eve. We are on the eve, the last podcast before the first tournament of the year, the first major of the year. Give me a player, not that you think for sure will, but give me a player that hasn't won a title that you think wins the title in the 2019-2020 year. I'm going to go with Allen again, but I want to know what you think.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Honestly, it's kind of hard to say. Like, I know that IB Strafen, he's probably won like a club series before, but he hasn't won like, the whole deal. So IB Strafen, I think that IB Strafen will make a run. I think that he's very underrated and he's pretty impressive. And also, I got to give a shout out to Harry Q. I kind of like watching him play. Like, I don't know what it is, but he's like one of my favorites, when it comes to that. So I hope to see him make a run at a tournament as well. But I would say IB Strafen probably takes home the belt, I would say.
All right, that's a good outlier one. IB Strafen is Minnesota Vikings club, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, he has a good chance, and I mean, as long as they all start teaming up, they all have good chances, to be honest.
Yeah, no, definitely, because yep. you gotta have a good team to make it far. We've already given our 2 cents on that,
Yes.
but so you know, we talked about this in the last podcast, you know, like, you know, about the whole tweeting situation, but I mean, this is kind of because before we weren't really taking that seriously. We, you know, it was kind of like, oh, you don't like it when someone random makes a run at a tournament, but when you think about it, like, do you think that it's because obviously anything can happen, but do you feel like the game's like that easy to where someone that you never heard of could come in and win a tournament, or do you think that that's kind of far-fetched? Because me personally, I think that's a little far-fetched. Like, I can't really see just like a no-name come in and...
Well, you know what I really think it is, though, Trey, is I think a lot of the players that have this issue with randoms and a bum winning it all, I think they're not very, how do I say it, educated. It has only gotten more and more popular, Madden. It's not as popular as the other e-gaming sports, but it's more popular than it's ever been. Like, when Problem was winning championships, there wasn't that many people playing. There wasn't even that many elite people. There's a few. So, of course, so let's just say, I'm going to throw out a number. There's 2 million people playing it, right? And you've got, like, 50 elite players in Madden 18. Well, then, in Madden 20, you got 10 million people playing. Well, there's going to be a way better chance to have 150 elite players than 50 elite players. So I just think as it gets more popular, there's going to be people that you don't know of, you don't know who they are, and they're very good. It's like that Henry kid, the young kid. Nobody would have known who he was. If he was eligible last year, he might have won it all if he was able to keep his emotions in check on the big stage. He was beating all the pros. I mean, all the pros. He was top 3 in every leaderboard last year. And then what happened? He couldn't play. But what happened is that pros signed him and got him. So now he's not a random. You see what I'm saying? Now he's not a random. So if he won a chip this year, oh, Henry's not a random, he's a pro. Let's do another example. There's another guy, he's out there, let's just say, and this one is just an example. You don't know who he is. He comes out of nowhere and wins a championship or goes top 4. People will instantly cry and be like, look how bad Madden is, a random did it. But he will get signed. And then eventually people will be like, oh, he was a pro, he wasn't a random. There's just too many people now wanting to play this. There's too many people realizing that this is a very, very good chance and very good way to make money. And let's go on a different topic. Is, you know how many people have disabilities like either anxiety or mild depression or stress, or they're introverts, and they might not do well at a job out in the public as much. So this is a very good way to make money, so people are learning that. It's not 1995 anymore, it's 2019. So there's different ways to make money. I don't care if you're 50 or 55. If you can make good money on a video game, you can make good money on a video game. Nobody should tell you that you have to go work at Walmart or a desk job because you're 50, 55 years old. I mean, this genre, and I'm saying Madden gaming, is one of the few genres that hate on older people that are very good at it. You know how many people are popular on YouTube that do like music reviews and they're like over 55 and people think it's awesome? There's way more people loving it that there's an older person doing like music reviews and movie reviews, and they have millions of subscribers. But like I said, I just feel like sometimes the Madden community has been small. We're gradually getting bigger, and they don't like newbies, and they don't like people that aren't in their little age bracket. I mean, I went a little bit longer, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I agree with all you said. I really couldn't say it better myself. People, I just feel like there's a lot of, I don't want to say clowns, because I like to be professional sometimes, but I just feel like, there's people that, at like, they want to help the Madden community, they want to, see it go farther, but at the same time, they'll make fun of people, or they'll constantly do the same stuff that makes it not grow that much. So it's one of those things. So
Yeah,
so
that's what I fully agree on. But go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So I know that this is a little bit early in the year, to be talking about this, but it's one of those weeks. I come up with a lot of these topics, and I like to think that I do a pretty good job, but every now and then, sometimes I get lazy and just throw in, like a random topic, but out of all the Maddens that you've played, and I want to ask the chat this as well, because I know that me, I've played Madden for quite a while. I know Shane hasn't really played that heavy, Madden 15, till now probably,
Whoa! Madden
but
13, bro. Madden 13 was
oh,
live, and then I yes,
you're
and
right.
then I no, and then I didn't play really again till like the summer of Madden 15 was ending. So yeah, so 13
Yeah.
and 16. But go ahead.
So yeah, my question is, just off of the limited time you got to play Madden 20, like, are you at the point where, from a scale from 1 to 10, like 10 is like, oh my god, this is the best, Madden that I've played, it's awesome, and 1 being like, that this is pretty bad. This is probably one of the worst ones that I've played. Like basically what I'm trying to ask is, like, would you consider this the best Madden game that you ever played? And if not, what's your favorite Madden that you've
It
ever
is
played?
fully up there. It is fully up there. If they do not change much, if they keep it almost the same and erase any glitches that come across, that they find out, if they just keep it basically the same, nobody comes out with anything outlandish, this will go down as one or two on my favorite Maddens of all time. Madden 13 will be number 3 for me, just solely because, look, my first year trying to make a live event, and I make a live event, and I go to Vegas. So that has to stay up there. And then it's between Madden 16 and Madden 20 for the top spot. And so far, I think I like Madden 20 a little bit more than Madden 16 at this point. But again, I gotta wait till the end of the year to make a complete opinion of it. But right now, yeah, this game is easily one of the best Maddens put out there. Madden 18 and Madden 19 were trash to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. This is definitely going to be a topic that we'll have to revisit, after this year is, all said and done, when, it gets kind of dead and we're all just waiting for Madden 21 to come out. So we'll definitely have to revisit this at a later time to see how it held up over time. So so this is gonna be the kind of topic that has been talked throughout, numerous throughout the community. It's a topic that's been highly controversial. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of noise surrounding it. So this is going to be kind of a longer topic, but 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 basically everybody knows about the dynamic difficulty adjustment, otherwise known as DDA. And if I know that there might be some viewers that are unaware of what that is, but basically what it is it's a patent that EA has the rights for, and more or less what it is is say that you're playing a game, just any game, and you're having difficulties playing it. The game, what this patent does, it senses that you are having problems. It senses that you are having problems with the game, and then it automatically adjusts it. So in turns, it makes it easier. So I want to quickly. I mean, I'm probably going to talk after, because we like to play off of each other, kind of. But my first impressions about this whole DDA is that I know that EA has the rights to it. Do I think that they use it? I'm gonna go ahead and say no. I think that it's momentum. I think that there's something to where it makes it harder. I think that matchmaking probably plays a part of it. Like if you get on a win streak and you just get matched up, and some things just don't go your way. So for everyone saying that, it's pre-written, like if the game doesn't want you to win, you're not going to win, and that's completely false. Is it going to be hard? Yes. Is the game going to do pretty much everything in their power to keep you from winning? Yeah, probably, but it's not pre-written. And that's the reason you still see people go 25-0 in Weekend League. That's the reason you see people go on ridiculous win streaks. It's because that they're really good. So Shane, with that being said, what's your opinion on this, hot topic?
I think it's a sissy way out for most players. And what I mean by that is everybody's got a sorry ass excuse when they lose. They really do. And yes, don't get me wrong. There are times that you do get cheated or there is a glitch. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there isn't. I'm just saying, like, Kiv, for example. I'm going to throw him out there. When he lost, I believe, in Madden 18 or Madden 19 earlier in the year in a tournament because he got his field goal blocked, he said, there is no way that field goal blocking should be allowed in Madden. And people are like, well, just kick perfect and you can't block it. And he goes, yeah, but that's still dumb. You shouldn't have to. And then people were arguing back and forth with, well, Kiv, you run every community money play and you know how to do it better than everybody, so that's not fair. So that'd be like saying you got to throw that out and you have to pick random defenses. And then he got mad. And what I'm saying basically is everybody's got an excuse when they lose. I lost to this bum because Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C. Do I think DDA exists? Sure. But do I think that, like, it's all in the games? No. Or the same people wouldn't, wouldn't go 25-0 in Weekend League, like you said, or win 70% of their games. But yeah. I do think there might be different setups where they favor the pro players. I know this sounds crazy, but for example, last year in Mud Draft, I'm going to use me. I kept a journal, a freaking journal of my playbook records for every team. You remember me telling you this, Trey. But
right.
I got the 3 worst playbooks that I did. So the 3 playbooks that I got, I had the worst record from. Like, I sucked out of those 3 playbooks. But Skibbo and Clef and Dreamy, they all got their playbooks. You know how rare that is to get their number 1 playbook? And then for me to get the worst ones. So for me on that, I kind of feel like, maybe it is a little bit heavy in favoring the pros on that aspect. But do I think the game picks the winners from the get-go? No. Do I think that sometimes they make it maybe a little bit harder? You might fumble a little bit more if you're on a big win streak. Yeah, of course I do. I think that, but I'm not sold on it was it's written on who's winning the game. It's written on who's doing that. I just think that sometimes the game makes it a little bit harder. Like, there's been times that, like, I have been doing very, very well, and then like I'll play a guy and he will throw it into triple coverage and make the catch, and he gets every break, and then I start struggling. So I don't think the game determines on who's going to win from the get-go. I don't. I know I've seen multiple pros talking about that, but I just don't. I think the game does make it hard for you a little bit when you're winning too much, if that makes sense. That's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. We could find out later that it is all pre-scripted and all that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I feel like the more interesting thing, you know, a lot of these people in the community that have been talking about DDA, you know, like they're people that aren't even really they're people that aren't even really that, you know, would be labeled as like the top 1%. You know, I don't really hear Problem or, you know, Skimbo or like those guys talking about DDA. You know, I'm not gonna say any names because, you know, I'm just not gonna say any names. But like a lot of the people that are talking about DDA and that are, you know, going through trying to find the answers, I just feel like, you know, they'll do anything for attention, and that's their hope of, you know, reaching that level of fame is
I agree. There's been some pros that I would consider on semi-pros that are, you know, on my level, maybe slightly a little bit worse, maybe slightly a little bit better depending on the mode. They have complained about DDA, and I just, not everything's a conspiracy theory. Not everything is like,
yeah.
I just don't know. But I do, the only thing that I question, and I don't know how they do it, but it's the whole playbook thing. You know, how I was talking about how, like, Skimbo and Dreeny and Clef got their playbook, and I got the worst playbooks possible. How do they determine that? Is it random?
Maybe, but it's weird, basically.
That's the only thing that I feel is a little bit weird. Like, I got all 3 playbooks that were trashed for me, and they got their number 1 playbooks.
Yeah. So yeah, that was our little spill about the whole dynamic difficulty adjustment. I know that you know, like if you guys are out there and you know you're into like the whole juicy, you know that kind of juicy conspiracy theory type of thing, I would definitely recommend, because there are quite a few interesting videos and people, you know, breaking down the game and doing tests and all that. So if you guys are interested in a juicy conspiracy, then you should definitely, you know, try to research that. So, but anyway, so moving on to the more lighter topic of things, you know, this is another kind of a random topic, but I want to ask Shane, like I know that Shane, you don't really, you know, you don't really watch Twitch streams all that often, but you know, like the streamers that you have watched before, like who in your opinion is entertaining to watch? Like not someone that's good at Madden, but just the entertainment aspect of it. Who do you think is your most entertaining person to watch in the art community?
Damn, bro, you put me on the spot. I'm gonna come up like a dick. I already know. I don't care to watch anyone.
Yeah.
I just think, like, I mean, and I might be too deep into it. I might be too deep into the scene and just know them, like, how they acted and how they talked. Like, I'm not, it's like, whatever. Like, there's a few guys that I watch that are, like, considered nobodies that are, I just like watching more because they're decent people. Like, a lot of the pros that I've dealt with, there's been issues. So, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I just watch it and it's on mute. So, I mean, that's the best I can give you, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, fair enough, fair enough. I wasn't really too sure, like, what your answer would be for that, but I thought it would be, like, an entertaining topic to put nonetheless. But, you know, for me, I liked Gaming Powerhouse. Like, I don't know if anybody in the chat know who he is, but he was definitely kind of an entertaining person. I don't know what he's doing now, but he's not on Twitch anymore. Dubby. I honestly think that Dubby probably has like the most like cool like personality in the Madden community. I think I could say that. Like, I think that he has like a cool personality, and I feel like that's why a lot of people, watch him and all that. On the YouTube side, you got, your boy Pizza. He has like 1 million subscribers, so I'm sure people know who that is. TD Barrett, we've had, quite a few talks about him, within our chat over the months, and people like that. So I thought that was just like a cool little topic to discuss. So, all right, so this is the part of the show where Shane and I give you the unpopular opinion, an opinion that we feel like we're alone on, and we don't think that a whole lot of people agree with. We all have those opinions, probably not just with Madden, but with anything. But Shane, do you have an unpopular opinion for us this week?
The only thing right now that I could think of is that most Madden players, and it might not be unpopular, there might be people that fully agree with me. I think that most Madden players do not understand X's and O's. They do not know how to play real football, and I feel like most elite players have trash users. So my unpopular opinion is that a lot of these guys that are like top players that everybody brags up, they just know how to beat the system. Like, for example, they run 3-4 pinch blitz before anyone knows how to beat it. Then they switch to big dime. Then they switch to dollar. And so to me, the unpopular opinion is I don't really think that they're that good at X's and O's, and I don't think that they have that good of a user, because, to be honest, I've played enough pros, and maybe 30% have legit users. The other ones think that they're way better than they really are, and have issues trying to make tackles in the open field. So mine's real short. I don't know. What about you, Trey?
Yeah, I just kind of want to go off for what you said. I totally agree with you, like, about the X's and O's thing. I feel like they're good at the game, and by good I mean I feel like they try to find ways to exploit stuff. So basically, that they're good at the video game, but they don't understand football. Simulation football, which is unfortunate, because I feel like that there's people out there that they might be coaches, or players, people that understand, like cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, or like the route, combinations, and they understand those kind of aspects about it. So my question to you is like, do you think that people that come from a football background and people that kind of know the X's and O's on football, do you think that they could, if they wanted to, that they could also make a run at a game, or do you feel like they would have to stoop to the stuff that everyone else is running?
I think they'd be pretty good, because there are some pro players that have coached or played football at a decent, level. But I think, yes, I honestly think that, like, a guy who knows football in and out, knows the X's and O's, I think he'd be pretty good, but I don't think he'd go, like, very deep or make a live event right away without knowing the plays, So I think that for the majority, they'd still have to stoop to a certain level, because I see certain people that know X's and O's, or I assume they do, and they still, like, come out in whatever's popular in the community, and the reason why is because that works. Real football does not always work, on a video game, and that's why a lot of the pros were upset when they took away the nanos. Like the nano detector, a lot of them hated it. They wanted people to learn how to block it or how to work against it. So to me, I think a coach or a player that is young enough, I mean, or even between the ages of like a player who's 16 or a coach who's like 25 to 40, I think they'd be pretty good, because this game has really started to try to get to simulation and realism, and if it continues going that way, I think it'll just help people that like X's and O's and like real football more than arcade.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I think because I don't really have that much of a football background. I grew up watching football, you know, obviously, but I feel like when you grow up watching football, say that you're a fan of the Seahawks, or whatever team, like you might be fans, but I feel like even if you're a diehard fan, you're not even really paying that much attention to like what kind of formations that they run, or what kind of defense that they run usually. And for me, that one thing that not a lot of people think that it's interesting, I found it very interesting for me. And that's kind of why I liked getting into Madden. Like, I like to match up with somebody and like have it be like a test of like football IQ and adjustments, like can you adjust to what I'm doing, and that kind of thing.
Oh, but, I definitely agree on that, man. I definitely agree.
Yeah. But like I don't feel like we'll ever get there, because people, they don't really want to learn. They just because it's an easy fix. Like I don't want to learn. These defenses, like just give me like a blitz or like an exploit, and then I'll be good. So. Alrighty, so we are reaching the near end of the podcast. Is there anybody in the chat that has any questions for us? We appreciate you guys being in here if you are in here, but is there anybody in here?
No, they just left. Like the couple people left. Yeah. But that's fine. I was gonna actually wrap it up in a different way right now. If you play this podcast tomorrow or in the future, there's a couple videos that I left up about a guy that basically scum kicked it. Not even this normal scum kicked. He knew how to like pooch kick it, where if you came out in normal kickoff return, your fullback or your player on the up front area would not pick up the ball. I know Trey saw it. He would not pick up the ball. So you think that in my opinion, you have to come out on onside, and it still worked. It worked 2 of the 3 times because you have a better hands player. But then they can just kick it off deep, and you have to start at a 25, or there'll be another way where they, scum kick it down to the 2-yard line, and they might outrace you. So I feel like that has to be patched. And now we do have a question. It's from Matt. He says, "What do you think about Andrew Luck?" Do you want to hit it first, or do you want me to hit it?
I'll take it first.
Okay.
Andrew Luck, I feel bad for Andrew Luck. I really do, because like the people that hate on Andrew Luck are probably the same people that they're overweight, and they watch football games while eating Doritos, and then they complain about the NFL softening up the game, like, but at the same time, they're not really doing anything themselves, player safety is definitely, I'm an advocate for it personally. I don't know how you or Matt feels about it, but I definitely feel like we're moving in the right directions. Now, I like seeing a big hit, just as much as the next guy, but I don't like seeing dirty hits. Like, I like seeing, clean, like big hits, which is fine. So, but no, Andrew Luck, I feel bad for him because he has to deal with all that stuff. But at the same time, there are definitely people supporting him, and basically deciding to, support him, and he wants to live, past a certain age. He doesn't want to have to deal with, the 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 long-term mental effect of being a NFL player. So more power to him. That's what I think.
You know, I think bodies break down at different rates, and unfortunately, he it came to him where he couldn't keep doing it, and the mentality of him keep trying to bounce back, keep trying to bounce back, keep trying to bounce back. Eventually, you just get overwhelmed, you get tired of doing it, and you bow out, and that's okay to bow out. Like, just because you're a number one overall pick or a top five overall pick doesn't mean anything in the very end. It's just what general managers and scouts thought of you. And do I think he lived up to the hype of a number one? No. Do I think he was very good? Yes. I personally think that, like, or Russell Wilson is better than him overall. I think Russell Wilson had to go against way tougher defenses than Andrew Luck did in what I consider a soft division. But I think it's it's disappointing, man. He's a good guy. From everything you heard, he's a good guy. He's well-spoken. He's very smart. And he loved the game. But you know what? There is also a lot of CTE going around now. There is a lot of certain things, like, does he want to be in a wheelchair by 40? No, I wouldn't want to do that. And you know what? I think it was very classless of the Indianapolis fans to boo him as he was walking off the field for perhaps, the final time. I think that was super classless. I mean, you can do what you can do and until your body gives out. And some people I would consider in the terms of soft. I'll quotation marks soft. There are people that are kind of soft, but then there's also people that are dealing with, torn ACLs or torn chest muscles, or and they battle and then they eventually can't do it. And then there's some people who sit out because they had a boo-boo on their pinky. Well, everybody's different, and Andrew Luck had tears. He had to do surgery, so I wouldn't consider him soft at all. I'd consider him a very good, very, very good player who unfortunately didn't live up to the fans and the general manager's hype of being a number one draft pick. His body didn't last, and that's just the way things go in life, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I mean, we saw it last year. I mean, as a Patriots fan, like, was I that upset to see Gronk leave? Like, no, not really, because I understood it. Like, you know how many movies and the WWE, they probably want a piece of Gronk, because he's a personality. Like, he has a life outside of football, and if I'm Gronk and I'm very good at football, and I know that I can transition into movies or WWE possibly, like, why not do that transition? Like, why should I have to risk injuries and all the BS to play football?
Oh, yep, I fully agree. Like, I believe the study is that most careers last 2 to 3 years. And to be honest, sometimes I feel like we as fans look at them like less than human. Like, they're our entertainment. How dare they leave until we're done with them? It's a business, and a lot of players find out that it's a business, even more so than fans. Like, think about how quick we are to cut a player or hate on a player once he starts sucking. He might have given you 5-6 good years for your favorite team, but boy, he misses that free throw or he drops that pass and he's a bum. Cut him. I mean, it was a few years back, but there was a San Francisco 49er who fumbled the punt return or kick return in the playoff games, and people literally were calling his family, giving his family death threats. and they had to have police show up. You know how ridiculous that is? Like, look, I get fired up. I get sad or pissed off or super excited when my team wins or loses, but I'm never, ever going to give a death threat to a player because he fumbled the ball or he missed a bucket. It's one of the most ridiculous and asinine things. I mean, that we can talk about for a different day. We can do it for next week. Like, do fans go too far? We can have that topic. But right now, we are at the time limit to end the West Coast Madden podcast. Trey, do you have anything else to say?
No, not really. Just, again, I like to thank you guys for stopping by, and I like to thank the people that are, that rock with it after it's been posted. And again, if you guys are interested in winning a free $1 million coins, all you have to do is hit me up on Twitter, JusticeT97, and I will make sure to reply to you. And you can reply to me back at your earliest convenience. So that's basically all I have to say.
All right, so for another podcast, another good podcast, this was the West Coast Madden podcast with Shanegotyou11 and Trey. We will see you next Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So long, and be safe, and have a good weekend.